Welcome back to Fueled by Plants, another edition of Fit Fueled Reactions where I'm about to be reacting to some BS. Hopefully, it's not no BS because this is a vegan versus carnivore debate or vegan versus meat eater debate, keto myths, and a lot of other things that's going on, right? Halloween special because things about to get scary. Okay. Yeah. So what I want to react to, and I was going to react to a different video, but one of my subscribers sent me this debate. Right. I was going to go down the usual rabbit hole to pick one of these carnivore podcaster and demolish them. But I thought this would be interesting to go over this vegan versus meat eater debate. And it's all women on the panel. Why? Because, I'm progressive. I'm a progressive vegan, right? So I'm gonna be reacting to vegan women and carnivore women, I think. And we're going to see what they highlight, see the good, the bad, the ugly, see what I can dispel, and see if these vegans know how to debate for veganism the correct way. We're gonna see what they're talking about. Um, it is Halloween. I don't have no costume. You know why? Didn't get one in time. I was gonna be Michael Myers, but hey, we'll say that for next time. But let's get into this debate and see what they're talking about. I don't want to have no whole bunch of preamble. All right.
In this episode, devoted vegans and committed carnivores face off to share their beliefs, science, and personal experiences behind their very different diets. They will debate health claims, ethics, and environmental impact, challenge stereotypes, and search for any common ground between these two extremes. Get ready for passionate opinions, surprising insights, and a conversation that goes far beyond what's on the plate. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Daff. Welcome to The Bridge. Hello.
Hi, I'm Caroline and I'm a vegan.
Hi, I'm Lydia and I'm vegan.
I'm Lisa and I'm vegan.
I'm Vanessa and I'm vegan.
I'm Angela and I'm a carnivore.
I'm Sabrina, I'm a carnivore.
I'm Charlene and I'm a carnivore.
Welcome. And the first prompt is, my diet is the healthiest for the human body. Okay. Well, anyone can speak.
Nobody want to say nothing.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
I feel like the way that I eat is not taxing my body by digesting hard to digest animal products, and I don't have to secrete a lot of nitrogen, which is toxic.
Also, like the video, so this video gets out to more people. Also, comment, leave comments, and we'll get into this. All right.
For the system and hard on the liver and kidneys. It's not clogging my arteries. I feel animal products clog the arteries to the brain, to the heart. It's leading to a lot of the top 12 problems, health problems in the country, diabetes, obesity, all that, and more studies are showing the health benefits of veganism. So I feel like this is the healthiest way to eat and healthiest for the planet.
When it comes to the human body, we have
Also,
essential functions in the body.
she's speaking facts right there because I dare anybody, I'll pay a person $100 if they can find me somebody who's been vegan over 10 years that has diabetes, that has hypertension, that has heart disease. Find a person who has been vegan over 10 years that has any chronic illness. It doesn't happen. That person doesn't exist. And if you can find that person, I will PayPal or Cash App you $100. Take me up on my bet. You know why nobody will? Because they can't find that person.
Has to carry out that are fueled by micronutrients. By default, a vegan diet is actually missing very key essential nutrients that the carnivore diet has by default. Things like methylated versions of B12, folate, iron, and even DHA.
Stop it. You see how they lie like that? You see how they just say things and they don't expect anybody to call them out on it. She said a vegan diet lacks B12, methyl B12, and she said iron. She said something else. I might rewind it. Iron comes from plants. I get iron every day. I literally get iron every day. Kidney beans. Simple. Done. Easy. Supplement with B12. Easy. You see how they just say things? They just literally just say stuff. Like, what is she talking about, bro? You feel me?
HA. Those things are very difficult, if not impossible, to get on a vegan diet without supplementing.
You said no. So what would you like to say?
I said no because I don't subscribe to the idea that there's a one-size-fits-all type of diet. I think that there's a lot of evidence that suggests that a whole foods plant-based diet there's a lot of health benefits from that. But that's not the reason why I adhere to a plant-based diet. I adhere to it for ethical reasons, not for health reasons. So that's why I said that.
So what specific physical or mental improvements have you noticed since switching, becoming vegan or becoming a carnivore? What have you noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely willing to have people up on the live stream. I want to start getting a few more people on. But yeah, I'm definitely into having more people on the live stream and having guests, whether there's someone who wants to debate, whether there's someone who agrees with my standpoint. Absolutely. And maybe I'll let some people up today. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. Let's get back into the reaction
Within your own body.
I was able to heal chronic pain that I experienced in my upper back and neck. I was able to heal acne that I had on my face, IBS, as well as chronic anxiety within 6 months of being carnivore.
Wow. How about you?
So I had late-stage neurological Lyme disease, and I also suffered from breast cancer. And before all of that, I was plant-based, I was vegan, and I actually was...
Here comes the lies. Here comes the I used to be vegan. I used to be vegan and it almost destroyed my life. Here comes the bullshit, bro. I knew it. I knew it was coming. Bro. Here it comes. Here it comes. Watch the lies come out her mouth.
I started to get very sick, and I started to have something called mast cell activation syndrome. And the plant toxins were causing me to go into anaphylaxis.
Oh my God. No, she didn't say plant toxins. No, she didn't say plant toxins. Okay, I'm gonna let it play.
And so I actually, the only thing I was able to eat was meat. And once I got rid of the foods that I loved so much at the time, they were not loving me back. And meat was the one thing that saved my life. And all of my issues and my symptoms, like I got my life back when I went carnivore.
Oh, you know how they when hold on.
If you were vegan.
When carnivores talk about plant toxins or anti-nutrients, when they talk about that, you notice how they never give you examples of what they ate. That's number one. Number two, they never tell you what did they do to try to fix it. Okay, if you weren't having a good experience on a plant-based diet, what did you try to do to fix it? Did you go to a vegan dietitian? Did you go to a plant-based nutritionist? Because I've been a nutritionist for 6 years. If a person comes to me and say they're not having a good experience on a plant-based diet, all they have to do is tell me what they eat on a consistent basis, and I can fix it just like that. Now, look, I'm not one of those people that says, you are not an individual, because look, it's people out there that die if they eat a peanut. It's people on the planet that will die if they eat a peanut. All right. So it may be 1, 2, 3% of people on the planet that maybe can't go completely plant-based, but I haven't found that person yet. I'm open to other opinions and other research. Find me a person who says they had a bad experience on a plant-based diet and let me work with them for a month and let's see if they still have a bad experience. That's what I'm saying. So don't just come up here and say, oh, I almost died from plant toxins. What you mean? Tannins? All you have to do is cook the vegetables and it deactivates those plant toxins. See, people are very disingenuous when it comes to a plant-based diet. They have their own modalities and their own outlooks on life that makes them fall into that category, that makes them believe that, right? It makes them believe that. It's not the fact that she tried a vegan diet and really tried to make it work. It sounds like she already had a preconceived notion that it wouldn't work, but she just wanted a talking point. Because I guarantee you, eating beans and eating vegetables did not almost kill you. I guarantee you that eating broccoli did not almost kill you. I refuse to believe it. It's nothing that anybody can get on this internet. It's nothing nobody can get on Nicki Minaj's internet and tell me that vegetables almost killed them. I'm not going to believe it.
Again, ethically, how was that for you going from, I mean, it depends on the reason why you're originally vegan, but then because for your own health reasons, to then have to start eating animals again. How was that for you ethically?
Honestly, I was so desperate to live. I made sure that all of my
You see how dramatic she is? I was so desperate to live. There's over 4,000 vegetables on the planet, and there's even more fruit. 4,000 vegetables, and let's just say 4,000 fruits out there. That's not even including nuts and seeds and all those things. So you tried all of those, or no, maybe, or you just tried 10 vegetables and probably 10 to 20 fruits, and those didn't work for you. Let me go back to eating animals. Because I guarantee you didn't try every vegetable on the planet. I guarantee you she didn't go to a nutritionist. And 9 times out of 10, even if she did go to a nutritionist, most doctors, 90% of doctors and 90% of nutritionists try to fearmonger people out of being a plant-based individual. 90% of them. 90% of them do it.
food was sourced ethically as possible. You know, grass-fed, pasture-raised, regeneratively farmed, local farms where I actually got to know the people that were growing and raising my food. Because to me, this wasn't just a diet, this was my medicine. And I was so sick, I couldn't even.
Want to make sure I pronounce your name. Also, want to pronounce your name right too. Omni's Archives, appreciate you for the comments. And look, if I can't pronounce, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. I've heard a lot of people do hardcore raw foodism, and surprise, surprise, they don't do well. When you say raw foodism, comment, let me know what you mean by raw foodism. I'm curious to know what you mean specifically about that, because I know plenty of people who do a raw vegan diet right now, and they have amazing experiences. There's periods of my life where I go completely raw for months at a time, and I do amazing. I actually do way better, you know. And when I start eating processed foods again, you know, I feel it. I'm more heavy. I feel more heavy. So expound on that a little bit more. Zoa. If I pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry.
Use supplements or medication to heal. So this was my food and my medicine. And so when you're dying and you're desperate, you're going to do whatever it takes. And
when you're dying.
But the one thing was that even the difference, once I started to get my health back, the difference between how I felt when I was vegan versus how I felt when I'm carnivore is night and day. And that to me was the most significant, that I realized that I needed to stay.
Thank you for sharing that. And we will actually talk about the ethics and morality, so we will get into that. But I want to hear on this side the answer to that question.
Well, it's been
I just don't buy the extremism. I don't buy the extremism. Like it wasn't that serious. You didn't almost die from eating broccoli. Broccoli didn't almost kill you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. You will never get me to believe that. Broccoli isn't killing people. Go to the hospital right now. I guarantee you nobody is in the hospital because they ate broccoli. Like, are we serious? Are we
a
serious?
long road for me because my family went vegan when I was like 11 years old. So I've been able to get healthier and sick and healthy. But I guess when my family first went vegan, I don't think I noticed initially like that much difference, except for that that like my body didn't stink as much. And then in college, I started eating dairy products because I was eating at the school cafeteria, you know, on my campus, and in North Carolina didn't have a lot of vegan options, and so I started adding dairy and maybe some eggs, and I noticed the stinking problem. But that was also when I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease and lupus. So I think that possibly even eating animal products contributed to that. When I was able to get help from a nutritionist, I was able to kind of reverse that again. So
Okay, I'm about to try to pronounce this. I think that's what you put this up here for. Amnizoa. Let me know if I got that right. I'm trying. I promise. I think I got that right though. Appreciate your comment. Appreciate you joining the live. Even if you agree or you disagree, I appreciate it. A whole healthy rich. What's going on? Whole food plant-based 42 years, and it was so obvious in my 40-year high school reunion. It was painful. I definitely get what you mean. I get what you mean. Now I'm on the internet, and I don't like to tell my age a whole lot. I like to let people guess, and they always guess super young, right? People always guess my age to be 7 to 10 years younger, so I don't like to say my age. But people that are my age that I grew up with, I know people 5 years younger than me who've had heart attacks, hypertension, a lot of different things that happen because of diet. And once again, I don't know anybody who's been on a vegan or plant-based diet 5 to 10 years that has any chronic illness or chronic diseases. The only issues that you have or can potentially have on a plant-based diet is when you don't do it correctly. And that goes for any diet that you embark on. So it's not just a vegan diet, it's any diet, right? What these carnivores don't tell you is when you're on a carnivore diet, your electrolytes are super low and you have to eat tons and tons of salt or get these electrolyte packets to supplement with electrolytes. But they're not going to tell you that on this live stream. Not one of these carnivores are going to tell you that their sodium goes super low, which if your electrolytes are low, you're going to feel tired and exhausted all day. All right? That's the problem with keto. That's the problem with keto. You're not getting no electrolytes. All right? So that's what they're not going to tell you. But I'm here to keep it objective, and I'm going to tell you. Let's get back into it.
So I think that it is very, very possible to heal on a plant-based diet, and and it's not necessarily like going to be like always perfect because our bodies are imperfect, but I think if you're committed ethically to
Y'all, should I get YouTube premium? Should I get it? If y'all commit to coming to my live stream every week, I might get it. So no more ads.
without killing or harming or stealing from somebody else.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share on
Yeah,
this?
I do.
Shout out this comment. Amnezoa. I think I got that right. I mean, they think he can only eat iceberg lettuce salad and then complain that they lack energy or some shit. Yeah. This is the vegan starter pack. This is the uneducated vegan starter pack. And I say uneducated from an empathetic standpoint because I was uneducated when I first started, right? This is the starter pack. Eat salads all day, right? Eat salads, some Beyond Burger meat patties or something like that. Eat some peanuts, right? Find certain vegetables that you like. They don't know what to eat. So two things happens. The first thing happened is they are not eating enough, right? So they're not getting enough sustenance. And number two, they're not eating a wide variety of plant-based foods, so they're not getting all the right nutrients. So two things are happening: not eating enough and not eating a variety of plant-based foods, so they're not getting the right amount of nutritional value, right? They're not getting the right amount of vitamins and minerals, and they're not eating enough, so they're not getting enough protein, fats, carbs, et cetera, et cetera. So when that happens, they don't feel good, and they attribute not feeling good to the vegan diet when in actuality they weren't doing it correctly. Then you'll have people saying, "Oh, I thought a vegan diet was supposed to be healthy. You should just be able to go vegan and just be healthy." That's not how life works. I should just be able to wake up and not work and still be able to eat, right? But that's not how life works. Life works when you do things correctly, you get good outcomes. If you do a vegan diet the wrong way, you get a bad outcome. That's with anything in life. So don't let these people fool you. Shout out to you. I read that already. My bad. Healthy Rich says, meat is lies and everything about it. The lies of the West are insane. I wish I had a soundboard to make some sound effects because you spitting some facts right here. So I'm assuming that you're not in the U.S. if you said the West are insane. Western Hemisphere. Where are you from, by the way? Let's get back into it.
I grew up, my parents always insisted I have meat, that my brain wouldn't develop properly. And they would always force it, and I didn't want to eat it. And I was constantly sick. I constantly had throat infections, and I missed so much school. I had teachers saying, "Do you not like my class?" And I was like, "No, I'm sick all the time." And when I went to college and I had control over what I ate, that's when I was vegetarian first and then vegan, and I stopped being constantly sick. I was like, probably half the year I was sick before. And when I went vegan, I stopped having that. I had more energy. My joints hurt less. I was always an athlete. I was a dancer, and I'm an aerialist now. And I had a lot.
Also, please make sure y'all are liking. Make sure y'all like the live if you haven't already liked it. Help me to reach more people so I can keep getting this information out of here. Keep having good conversations, whether you agree or disagree. I'm here for open dialogue and to get the truth out there. You feel me? So make sure y'all like the live.
More energy, better performance, less joint pain, and just, I can't even remember the last time I've been sick from a lifetime of being in bed most of the year and always going into the doctor's office. So for me, it gave me my life back.
That's great.
So I'm assuming that you're omnivore. So pretty much mixture of plants and animal products. I mean, hey, I'm vegan for ethical reasons, so I don't think it's necessary to eat any animals whatsoever from an ethical standpoint. But if you're on this live, obviously you're open to other viewpoints. So I respect it. I respect the fact that you're open to other viewpoints, just like I am. If I ever got some information that said being vegan was unhealthy, I wouldn't be vegan. First thing about life is self-preservation. And I've been vegan 9 years, so I've been searching and searching and searching. I haven't seen one piece of evidence that tells me a plant-based diet is hurting me or harming me, right? So if it was a survival situation where I had to eat things other than plants, then obviously I would, because I don't want to die. So that's the main point of why I do what I do, to let people know that, hey, it is possible. Don't believe the lies. Just don't believe the lies. Take the research into your own hands and take the research for what it is. But whenever I see people lying about certain things, that's what I'm calling out. And that's what some of these carnivores are doing on this live. They're lying about it. All right. Healthy Rich, I'm 60 and hike, walk, and run 100 miles a week without any. And Healthy Rich. Yo, Healthy Rich is out here crushing it. You feel me? I'm going to be like that when I'm 60. You feel me? I'm going to be like that when I'm 60. 100 miles? Pff, crushing it, man. Look, I thought vegans couldn't do that. Healthy Rich, according to carnivores, you should have withered away by now. According to the carnivores, you should be like protein deficient. You feel me? See, that's why I do what I do, because it's people out there like you and other people out there like you that are proving people wrong all the time.
In terms of like specific groups like children and pregnant women, for the vegans specifically, and even athletes, do you think plant-based diets are safe?
Yeah.
No.
Are we
Yeah.
doing the?
No, that's not a problem. Yes,
No.
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And to the carnivores, do you think your mental clarity or mood has changed on a meat-only diet?
Absolutely. Yes, that's one of the bonuses. I did not realize that was going to happen. When I first went carnivore, I was a little skeptical about it because we've been taught all of our lives about the food groups, this and that. But as I looked into it more and more, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a try. And within 3 days of going carnivore, all of my joint pain went away.
Yo, want to shout out, what's with this lady talking about her body odor so much? Yeah, it's so cringe. it's wild out here. It's
It was
wild.
amazing. So I was like,
know?
okay, this is, because meat is never inflammatory. So that's pretty amazing. I think one of the good things, if I might add, about both of these diets is if you are cutting out all of the processed food and the junk food, that really does a lot.
Absolutely. I know, well, I just had a baby, and I was talking with a lot of pregnant women during that time, and some were vegan, and I do know that they struggled greatly being vegan and being pregnant. Yes, there were ways around it,
Sure.
but they did have to do a lot more to make sure the baby was getting the correct nutrition. They had to have nutritionists to kind of like aid them with the pregnancy, and some couldn't do it. Some had been vegans for like 15 years, but during that pregnancy, they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, these ads are crazy, y'all.
So I do know that it's not like an easy thing necessarily. Can it be done? Yes, but I do think that there are some things you have to go through.
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 4, so my youngest sibling was 3 when we went vegan, I think, and she actually is like the strongest of all of it. Like she builds muscle so easily. She was like so energetic and like super strong. My the one above her, she's also like really strong, really muscular, really healthy. And my brother actually resisted, so he made my mom buy him Totino's pizza rolls and ramen. And so he, not a good step.
If I let you join, I think I would have to send you the link so you can join, so you can come on. So let me see here. Maybe you can message me. Look, we're gonna figure this out. If not this live stream, definitely next live stream. I do these every week, but I think you will have to join my StreamYard to join the live for sure. So you can message me on my IG, message me on Instagram, and I can send you the link to join, whether this live stream or next live stream. But we'll definitely chop it up for sure. So yeah, you might have to hit me on my IG, and I can send you the join link.
I guess on
Unless
that,
you know
but
it.
How were you ensuring you were getting all the nutrients as a child? Like, yes, you can look muscular and be strong and all of that, but doesn't mean that you're necessarily healthy. And, you know, as a child, it's that foundation for the rest.
You got out of US. The US is crazy right now. They cutting off SNAP benefits, Nick. I mean, tomorrow it's about to get crazy. It might turn to a food desert during the holidays too. It's getting crazy over here in the US. I don't know if everybody watching this in the US, it's getting crazy. President cutting off stamps.
Of your life. So sometimes as children, you can go junk food, you can go vegan, you can go carnivore, whatever. But as you get older, you'll see the repercussions of those things that you did as a child.
Oh, you vegan? Okay. I thought you said that you was omnivore. Okay, cool. Bet that up.
That you didn't see in childhood. So how can you ensure that a child is getting everything that they need for later on in life where, you know, their body would not react to.
Boom. Before she answers this question, I want to answer it, right? She said, how, because a lot of people think, oh, it's neglect to make your child vegan because they might not be getting the right things that they need for the developmental process. When a person says that, you know, they don't understand biology, they don't understand nutrition, and they don't understand how the body works. The body doesn't need it. The body doesn't discriminate between meat and plants. The body wants the nutrients. Everything that we eat gets broken down into the things that we need, right? Everything gets broken down into vitamins, minerals, simple sugars, fatty acids. The body breaks everything down that we eat into those essential things that we need. So as long as we're getting everything we need through a plant-based diet, it doesn't matter if you're eating meat or not. But a lot of people try to scare you and fearmonger you into thinking that a child needs meat. Now, look, do what you want. All I say is don't indoctrinate the children into believing that they need meat. If you're the parent, it's your house, your rules, right? But when I was growing up, I thought I needed meat. I thought if I didn't eat meat, I was going to die or get sick. And that was just not the truth. How come we can't live in truth? How come we can't live in reality? That's all I'm saying. Let's just live in reality, right? Let's stop lying.
Did your family have any issues in that area at all?
We didn't have any issues. We ate a lot of, there wasn't so much vegan junk food back then. Maybe Oreos was the only thing. So we ate a lot of like salads and like very whole food, plant-based, and we always had raw fruit, and every meal was very like plant forward, lots of veggies, and all of our adult.
Shout out to Healthy Rich. Fat is more than double the calories off of whole food, proteins and carbohydrates. Another thing, look, avocado is probably one of the healthiest things anybody can eat ever. I want everybody to go do this if you haven't already. Go look up the nutritional value of an avocado. It's insane. Avocados are so healthy, high in healthy fats. And if you didn't know, your brain wants fatty acids. Your brain needs fatty acids, and avocado is probably one of the best things that you can get for that. All right.
All of our doctor's appointments, we were
The
always
avocado is a fruit, and it's not technically a plant; it's a fruit. So, but
It's
y'all,
like-
y'all knew that already.
in the, tallest and best weight and, all the different markers that they look at. And
Oh yeah, we sick over here, especially in the Black community. Well, every community. I mean, look, it's not even a racial thing. It's just the truth. Like 70% of people in America are overweight. A large majority of that are obese. And obesity causes, and not even just obesity, diabetes. It's a lot of things that go on.
really healthy blood work. So
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be anecdotal stories of people with their own experiences. Everybody has different body and reacts differently to certain diets, but all the major dietetic associations have come out and said that a plant-based diet is healthy at all stages of life, including infancy all the way to pregnancy. And, if we're talking about children, there's no evidence that suggests that supplementing is inherently unhealthier than getting it from the food source itself. So it's very easy to be healthy on a plant-based diet.
Anyone want to speak to that on this side?
Well, I had 4 children. They're all grown. But I nursed them all. And, that is actually a carnivore diet, if you think about it. So that is one of the healthiest diets you can ever give your child. So that's all.
Anecdotal, scientific. What is it? Because there are no long-term studies on a carnivore diet. No long-term studies, not none. No long-term studies. It's all short-term studies. So by her saying that, she is, I guess, just listening to some carnivore doctors, I guess, because there's no long-term studies on it, right? Carnivore, I'm sure people have been practicing in certain regions of the areas being all carnivore for years and years and years, but it only became popular within the last 5 years. 5 years ago, you weren't hearing nothing about it. It started getting super popular when certain podcasters like Joe Rogan started popularizing it. I think him and Jordan Peterson, far right individuals like that, start talking about a carnivore diet. And even Jordan Peterson, I think he's in the hospital right now. Now, I'm not sure if it has anything to do with him being on a carnivore diet for this long, but he's in the hospital on the brink of death. His daughter came out talking about he might not survive. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with a carnivore diet. I'm just saying, but it's only been popular for about 5 years. Now, here's the kicker. If there's no long-term studies on it, how can you say it's good for children? It's very dangerous information.
I'm actually a mom of 3, and my kids follow what I will call an animal-based diet. So they're not just solely on meat, but we do eat a lot of that in our house, of course. But they do also get fruit. My daughter actually really likes sauerkraut, so of course I allow her to have it. And anytime they want to eat something else.
What's going on, One? Appreciate you showing love. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You come to a lot of the streams, so I appreciate you.
I'm not dogmatic about any of it. But to your point about children can thrive on basically anything, it's because they are in a natural catabolic growth state that's fueled by hormones and stem cells. So kids are resilient because we see kids growing up every single day that are fueled by entirely processed foods. Kids that live in food deserts, right? Kids that are technically orphans in other countries that don't have any sort of nutrition at all. So I think it's really hard to say what diet is best for kids because they're going to thrive in very poor circumstances a lot of the time. And then when you see them into adulthood and you see the possible chronic diseases, the autoimmune disorders, the other things that can affect them based on these chronic lifelong deficiencies that you may not have noticed because they're just in that growth state, that's when we start to see, well, what may be the optimal diet at that point.
Is more securely.
Also, this stream is super long. I might do this in 2 parts. It's super long, but it's a lot of good content here. There's a lot of good content here. It's a lot. Also, I got your message on IG. Sending the link over. There's a lot of content here, but it's super
my
long.
dietary choice more than health. Oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, anyone can speak.
I feel that my life isn't more important than the hundreds and hundreds of animals whom I'd be killing if I ate animals or took products from them. And I went vegan because of the ethics first. I'd been a vegetarian for a long time, but when I saw male baby chicks getting ground alive and what they do to dairy cows, I went vegan, and then I started researching and seeing there's no magic nutrients in animals. All the nutrients are coming from plants, and you have to break down digest the animal to get to those nutrients. And
this woman knows what she's talking about. Like, let's take one nutrient for example. Let's talk about I don't know, omega-3 fatty acids. Doctors and a lot of people will tell you, oh, you need fish oil. So much so people think that the fish oil is what they need to be healthy. But no, you need what's in the fish oil. And what's in the fish oil? Omega-3 fatty acids. But how do the fish get the omega-3 fatty acids? The fish eat the algae. So the omega-3 fatty acids come from the algae. It comes from plants. It comes from seaweed. So you can bypass the fish oil. You can leave the fish alone. Let them swim with SpongeBob. And you can just eat the algae. But doctors won't tell you that. They'll tell you get fish oil, right? Another lie.
like B12 is a microorganism. It's not an animal. And we all need to supplement it because we've sterilized our soil so much that we all risk deficiencies in that. And so I get my blood work done and micronutrients tested regularly, and my doctor says, keep doing exactly what you're doing. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, which to me meets my ethical need to cause as little harm as possible. And it makes my health thrive. I have great health and, and it's supported by my doctor. So I just feel like if you approach it from an ethical standpoint first, you're going to see later on that it's supporting your health and your mental health. That if I'm eating something that doesn't align with me ethically, that's not going to be good for me in other ways because I'm going to be suffering in some way mentally.
That's true. Do you believe, to all of you ladies, do you believe that eating meat is always immoral, no matter the circumstance?
No, I think for your example, right? Like if you are having severe health issues and that was what you...
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Cool.
And how do you, first off, how you pronounce your name?
It's Omnizoa.
Omnizoa, gotcha. I was hoping I was pronouncing that right. Omnizoa, gotcha. For future reference. Yeah, so welcome to the live stream. Like I said, wanted to start having some guests on here. But yeah, I mean, introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, your page. Are you vegan?
Sure.
Yeah, give some insight on the live stream and the topic and everything.
Well, I am Omnizoa. I've got a YouTube channel called Omnizoa. I talk about a bunch of random shit. Among that stuff, I've made a few videos on veganism. Since daycare, I have been vegetarian, and I've been vegan since 2011. So I have not eaten meat for a very, very, very long time at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
I'll see if I can get some other people in the chat.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate you for joining. You was being super active in the chat. contributing. And yeah, like I said, I do these live streams to do two things. Number one, dispel a whole lot of myths when it comes to a plant-based diet, dispel a lot of myths when it comes to veganism, and bring a little brevity, bring a little truth to the conversation, because it's a lot of things going on, a lot of narratives being pushed online, especially on YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere when it comes to a plant-based diet. And there's still people out there believing that it's not possible. You've been plant-based for a long time. I've been vegan for about 9 years. It'll be 9 years tomorrow, next month. And I've helped hundreds of people transition and get healthier and fit. So when I say it's possible, it's 100% possible, and I'm pretty sure you definitely know that as well.
Oh yeah.
I want to get to a couple more of these comments real quick. Let me see. Healthy Rich, eliminating all plant-based foods means missing out on essential nutrients like vitamin C, potassium, magnesium, which are crucial for the immune function, energy. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people, they don't talk about vitamin C and a lot of these micronutrients that you're not getting. I just got through talking about sodium, which is super important. It's an electrolyte that we need. And a lot of carnivores, a lot of people on keto diets, they supplement with that, which goes against what they say about a vegan diet, saying, oh, you can't, veganism isn't natural because you have to supplement, but they have to supplement with sodium or just eat tons of salt, which I know a lot of people who are on a keto diet. I don't have no problem with those people, because you can be vegan and keto as well. But that's just my point. You know, you get a lot of nutrients from plant-based diets. I don't know if you want to add to that, but appreciate you, Healthy Rich, for leaving that comment.
I'll just say I don't have a whole lot of input when it comes to the health debate side of things. Although you did mention earlier that if you determined that a vegan diet would be unhealthy, you wouldn't be vegan.
Well, yes, you did hear me correct. So my stance on it is I went vegan for ethical reasons. So me going vegan had nothing to do with health and wellness or fitness.
Mm-hmm.
But my first year of being vegan, I didn't do it correctly. So that which led me to become a nutritionist, a fitness coach, and learn more about the nutritional value. And when I say, and it goes back to the old saying, right? If you're stranded on a desert island and you're starving to death, and you're vegan, would you eat animals if you had to? Which is a completely idiotic and crazy stance, right? But if there was no way for me to maintain a vegan diet and I was going to wither away without eating any animal products, then I would have to reevaluate my stance on it. So that would be a question. But we don't live in the hypotheticals, because that's not the facts, right?
Well, my angle on things usually is to think about the position logically.
Mhm.
And I would go so far as to say that if you were stranded on a desert island, I would not resort to cannibalism, even if cannibalism was my only option to survive. Would you
Mhm.
resort to cannibalism?
Absolutely not.
Oh, why not?
Well, it goes back to the same thing, right? If you're stranded on a desert island, if that situation did come to pass, me personally, I wouldn't resort to that, and I would just starve to death. I'm not, if I'm stranded with a friend or another human being, I'm not about to try to eat them and kill them. I feel like that's
Well, why would you do that for a non-human animal?
I see your point. I see your point. Yeah, I absolutely see your point. You know, and that's a question that I would have to do some reevaluating on, and that's a fair point. 100% fair point. You definitely you got me on that one.
I'm just inclined to say that we shouldn't shy away from the hypothetical scenarios, because hypotheticals are very useful for thinking out our positions logically. And if it becomes a sort of situation where, you know, someone backs you into a corner because they can hypothetically demonstrate that you're a hypocrite under different circumstances than you're in, then they're not going to take your position as seriously as they would is if you had a little bit more conviction in your position and thought it out a little bit more. Not to be fair, I'm not, super eager to go starve to death on a desert island.
Right.
But provided,
Yeah, I mean, you bring up an excellent point, which brings me to another point. A lot of non-vegans talk about when they try to bag vegans into a corner. They go to and this is a fairly new argument over the last couple years. They say that being vegan kills more animals due to rodents in the fields, tofu fields,
definitely
these
heard that
avocado
before.
fields. And it's one of those arguments that just came up in recent years. Like I mentioned, I've been vegan 9 years. My first 5 years, I never heard that argument. I only start hearing that within the last few years. But I tell people, being vegan for ethical reasons, we never say, and I don't know your opinion on this. This is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Me as a vegan, we never say that being vegan causes absolutely no harm. My reason for not eating animals is because, number one, they don't deserve to die. And number two, is no reason for me to eat animals. And if it was the case, rodents do die in those fields, we need to figure out a way where we can start to reduce as many of those accidental fatalities, because that's what it is. It's accidental fatalities. I mean, eating animals and paying for animal torture in these factory farms, that's intentional. What happens in those fields is unintentional, and we need to figure out how we can eliminate that. But until we can eliminate that 100%, we need to figure out a way where we can start reducing those fatalities of those animals in those fields. That's just my opinion on it. Because it's so stupid. Because what they're trying to get you to say is, oh, you're a hypocrite because you still kill animals. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. So what's the alternative? To go eat animals because some fatalities happen in those fields is completely idiotic. And I don't know your opinion on that.
Well, my take is pretty simple. I think a lot of vegans do actually walk into that trap, and they bring it on themselves, quite honestly, because when they present veganism as, I don't think animals should suffer, and they make the whole concept of veganism about suffering, then yeah, anyone who's like, oh, well, you step on however many ants on your way to work every day, blah, 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 blah. They're going to come into that situation where like, oh, well, some amount of suffering is okay, but we're trying to reduce it as much as possible. That's not, that should not be the argument. Veganism isn't really about suffering, I argue. And so when people make it about suffering, then they really can just walk themselves into these arguments where, yes, actually, you do cause suffering by doing this or doing that or what have you. And I don't know. It's pretty self-sabotage a lot of the time, at least from what I see.
Yeah, I agree. And also a lot of people, are not good at fleshing out their opinions and their thoughts about this, right? And a lot of people don't, and I hate to say this, a lot of people who are quote unquote plant-based, they didn't do it for the same reasons that I went. It's a lot of people I talk to on a daily basis who are plant-based, and all they talk about is health. And I tell people this all the time. The reason why I talk about health and fitness from a plant-based perspective is because of people on the other side who say you can't be vegan and be healthy. So my whole point is I want to help as many people be plant-based, many as people be vegan, cause as less harm as possible, because animals don't deserve to die. And if I can do that by helping people learn how to eat, how to be healthy, then I can save more animals. And that's the whole reason of my channel. That's the whole reason of my brand. That's the whole reason of everything. It's all started because I went vegan for ethical reasons. So a lot of
I
people think
think
I'm just plant-based. A lot of people think I went vegan because I wanted to be healthy. And that was complete opposite.
Yeah, I think that's where I would normally draw the line. I think it's a little bit of an oxymoron to say I'm vegan for ethical reasons, because that's the whole point of
Right.
veganism. It's an ethical position. And so if someone says I'm vegan for health reasons, you're not vegan. You're just plant-based.
Yep. 100%.
And
100%.
oftentimes a lot of these people who say that they eat, a plant-based diet and that's all they do, that behavior does not extend outside of their diet. They don't buy non-leather shoes. They still go to the zoo. They don't pay attention to what sort of pharmaceuticals they're buying. Maybe they feel a little bit, warm and fuzzy when they buy that item in the, that shampoo that says cruelty-free, but they're not thinking about it too deeply.
Yeah. Absolutely. I 100% agree. 100% agree. I hope I pronounced this right. Mad Villainy. Correct me in the comments. I think people that don't know how to cook, or they aren't aware of all of the varieties of a whole food plant-based nutrition. Yeah. So once again, right? It's a very good point. A lot of these carnivores on this video that I'm reacting to have said that, right? And a lot of people, that's one of the main arguments against it, right? So we can bring the conversation back to the purpose of being vegan. We bring it back to that, and that's the pillar. Then everything else comes after that. Once you go vegan, once you make that connection to go vegan, then you'll be willing to fix everything. Because here's the truth: if I didn't go vegan, if I didn't make that connection in my mind and say, hey, I don't want to kill animals, I don't want to pay for that anymore, I was gonna find a way to figure it out. I was gonna find a way, whether that's me becoming taking 6 months to a year to become a nutritionist, whether that's me learning how to fuel myself the correct way. I was going to figure it out, because there's no way I can go back to that once it's like being unplugged from the Matrix. I hate to use that analogy, that red pill analogy, but it's like being unplugged. It's literally like that. It's no way I could do that anymore. So the answer to comment on this comment, yeah, you first you have to make that connection on why you're doing it, and then everything else comes naturally, right? Reaching out for help, reaching out to people like me to learn how to do it the correct way, to make sure you're getting the right nutrients, make sure you're getting variety in your diet, things like that, so you can take care of that part. So you don't have to go back to that. So yeah. Make sure I got all these other comments. It's a lot of comments. I want to get a little back into this video just a little bit more. I ain't want to stay on live stream too long. I definitely want you to come back on in the future. Definitely have more conversations. You have anything else to add about anything? I definitely respect your point of view.
Me?
Yeah.
Let's just keep watching.
I bet.
You needed to do to, like you said, like you're so desperate to stay alive. That's a choice that you make on your own. I'm very much like, we all have a choice. We all have an ethical choice to make. We all have a health choice to make. I'm not ever going to force someone to be vegan. I also can't force anyone to be vegan. It's a choice that I have made for myself, and I like to lead by example. You could be strong, you could eat all the things, you can be healthy. But if someone wants to eat it, do you?
But what about yourself? Do you feel that tug, like no matter the circumstance, you're going to be vegan? Obviously, she said she wasn't going to do that. But what about you?
I don't think I've been vegan for 13 years. I don't think I would ever eat meat again.
Even if your health was at risk?
We were just talking about this.
If it was to that severe of a point, I would have to stay alive, right?
Well, you don't have to.
That's true. That's very true. No, I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah, but hope that I'm never in that
I hope
situation.
not either. Anyone else want to share on this side?
I would not.
It's so funny that you brought it up, and I knew that probably was gonna come up. And like you said, that's they do that to bag him in the corner. Okay, well, what
Yeah.
happens if you have to? Oh, now you're a hypocrite, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a very good point, and you called me out on it. So I respect it. Like I said, I'm not this authority where I'm at the top. No, a person can call me out on something I say too. And that's dialogue. I respect
That's a
dialogue.
good way to approach it.
Absolutely.
I think for me, I wouldn't ever take something from somebody else that doesn't belong to me, and so I feel like the meat and dairy industry takes so much from others, and I just couldn't do that. Like the same as if somebody was like, oh yeah, you can get rid of your Crohn's disease and your lupus by drinking baby's blood, I would not do it. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing. Like if my body can't survive, then maybe it's survival of the fittest, and maybe that's my time.
Hopefully nobody here drinks blood. On this side, do you feel any moral conflict when eating animals at all?
No.
No conflict.
No.
They're delicious.
They're delicious.
Do you think you would ever
Oh, I don't care about eating the carcass of of another living being. I don't feel no harm. But I guarantee you, if a puppy was walking down the street and someone was trying to harm the puppy, they would try to stop it. If they weren't a total psychopath, they would at least say something, right? But it's different when it's a piece of flesh on your plate, though.
be able to
That
hunt?
depends on culture, really. I mean, some places don't consider dogs in the same way that we consider dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're as disposable and edible as any other thing you might find in a wet market.
That's true. In some countries, they hold cows to a different pedestal than they do in this country. So it definitely is a cultural thing. Yeah.
What I mean by that is that I don't think I would draw the line of total sociopath at, oh, they would also hurt dogs.
Right.
I think it's bad enough hurting the animals that they already are.
Right. Yeah, and I said that to call out the hypocrisy, because, and that's one of the arguments right there. I'm in love with my puppy, but you'll eat other animals, right? But what you're saying is, hey, you're eating animals. That's crossing the line in and of itself. It doesn't have to be a dog. It doesn't have to be a cat, and everything. Like that.
Process an
Yes.
animal yourself.
Yes.
Because I think if you say that you're able to do that, power to you. But I think there's a lot of folks that there's a massive disconnect. Because I think that's important, because I think, especially in America, there's a huge disconnect with where food comes from and what a chicken nugget actually is. I think a lot of children don't know that this is a chicken that you saw the other day is this piece of meat.
I can speak to that directly. I actually grew up with my father hunting every single year for deer and moose, and I would get to see the pictures and the videos of him field dressing and processing the meat. And of course, we would have that to sustain us for the year. And in our backyard, we actually had a shed where we raised our own rabbits. I was responsible for feeding them, cleaning them up, and then they would be processed and we would have them.
Same.
I
I'm
love
from
that
Pennsylvania.
euphemism.
So hunting.
Yeah.
They would be processed.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, let me get to this comment real quick. John, what's going on, John? Autophagy, the body eating itself in a good way. In spring, cleaning your cells, recycling junk, and rebuilding from the inside out. Yeah, that's the definition of autophagy. I don't know. Did they say something about that in the video? I'm not sure. Probably just wanted to say that.
It's kind of an old comment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. Healthy, rich nutrients come from soil. Yep. B12. That's where B12 comes from. Bacteria. It's not in animals. It's from bacteria. Let me just catch up on these comments. If I pronounce your name wrong, my apologies. Eston Heward, algae oil is so much more effective. Fish oil is massively profitable industry, so they want your money, absolutely. And to support the even larger fish, yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct. Happy Halloween. This is my Halloween special, people.
Happy Halloween.
Healthy Rich. Yeah, this is non-human celiac acid molecule found in most mammals that humans lost ability to produce, which when humans consume red meat, the body may incorporate this molecule into its tissues. Neuro 5G. I'm gonna look that up. Healthy Rich. Esteem again. It's crazy how carnivore dieters brought back scurvy into relevance from basically the dark ages. Yeah. Vitamin C is the cure to that. My nephew actually works on a boat. I told him about scurvy. I told him about that. One more time for Esteem. Of course, people still get it, but not usually in developed countries. Yep. Absolutely. Once again, Healthy Rich. Vitamin C is manufactured internally by all carnivores on Earth. However, humans must attain C through diet. Yep. Damn, I'm behind. Really runny. Everything has potassium and magnesium, including eat the perfect proportions, same as vitamin C. Raw meat has every nutrient on the planet. Huh? Amount as long as you're not eating a bunch of. Oh, hold on. I don't know if this is a factual statement. See. Now this is why I love doing these live streams. When
I'm gonna raise an eyebrow at that one.
When I see things that are not factual, we can talk about more morality. Morality is a little bit more subjective, but this is not true. This is not true right here. First of all, you can't get some micronutrients that you can't get from just animal products, and that's just a fact. All right, we could go through a list of them, but I mean, you could do your research. But yeah, this isn't true right here. Explain a little bit more of what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, that ain't true. Yep. Somebody says they agree with you. You got some supporters in the chat too. Mad Villainy. Why resort to cannibalism to what end?
That's just the point of the argument. I mean, if you wouldn't butcher a non-human animal to save yourself, if you wouldn't butcher a human to save yourself, then why would you butcher a non-human animal? That raises the question of where you would draw the line, and in some cases, it's actually implies a bit of speciesism, where I would draw the line at killing another human, but I wouldn't draw the line at killing a non-human, which obviously implies that you're putting some moral weight on the fact that the other person on that desert island is a human as opposed to a non-human. But what difference should it make at the end of the day, really?
Yeah. You're right. You're right. And like I mentioned, that makes me want to go back and reevaluate my stance on that specific question that a lot of carnivore guys, a lot of anti-vegans talk about, right? They try to back you into a corner with that. And it's so true, right? When you really think about it, that's true. What's the difference? What's the difference if you wouldn't cannibalize your friend or another human being? Why would you resort to an animal when you in a desperate situation? So,
and to be fair, for like an apples to apples comparison, there's no reason to make the other human on the island your friends. It's just arbitrarily another human, as opposed to arbitrarily a cow or a deer or a dog or any other animal.
Yeah, because saying a friend, it kind of brings a little bit more closeness to the situation. Instead, it can just be another random person that you don't even know. Would you resort to cannibalism? And in my stance, no. Yeah.
Yeah, you pick out like some carnists and you pose the desert island scenario to them, and you say, "Hey, would you, if you were stuck on a desert island, would you, kill the family dog and eat them in order to save yourself?" I'm sure a lot of them would say no.
Right. Yeah. Ayla Beinstock. Most food we grow. Now, I know I'm butchering these names. Y'all in the comments, forgive me. Forgive me. I'm not an English teacher. Most foods we grow is fed to animals. Ironically, eating plants take less plants than eating animals. That is technically a fact.
That's the biomass pyramid.
Yeah, we can, and I love facts. I love facts. Back to Eston Hewitt, it has very little, not enough unless you eat organs. I think she's talking about the vitamin C argument. Yeah, yeah, like liver and things like that, like those, like the psychopath. What's the dude name? Can't even think of the carnivore dude name. Talk about, oh, eat testicles and all this stuff. Just complete psychopath, dude.
There are too many of them to name at this point.
Yeah, I don't even want to give them the light of day. Yep. Somebody was just you shouting them out. Cool.
He came here because of me, just so you know.
Oh, really? Oh, hold on. Let me go. I think I passed it. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Healthy Rich. I'm way behind. Healthy Rich, simple math. Animals eat most crops. Yep. Let's see. I agree. It's about exploitation, not suffering. Suffering is a symptom of exploitation, but there are other forms of suffering, harm, and unaliving too. I think we should try to avoid it all.
I generally agree with that.
Yeah. Yep. Again, we can't be perfect, but we can be better. Yeah. Let's see. We can't be. Yeah. How many more of these? Look, y'all. Hey, I appreciate all the love. Look, we gonna get through it. Let's watch a little bit more. Then we're gonna
yeah. Don't bail
all
on us
seasons
too
is
soon.
it's a big thing for us. We have deer season, bear season. Those are the biggest times of the year for us to hunt. And I would go out with family and friends, and we would hunt. And then I learned how to process the deer, and it makes such a big difference, especially when you're getting a deer that's been on your land and you hunt on your land and you get to eat that deer.
So you think that if you're not able
What the fuck did she
to
just
kill
say?
and process an animal, then you should.
She's saying it's some sort of like enlightening position to be able to like,
right.
This animal was on my property and I was able to eat it. That just comes with the privilege of having acreage, bitch.
Right. And it goes back to, the people I'm raising these animals and then they get to live and then I slaughter them and like it's like what
entitles you to their life.
Right. Oh, just because they grew up on your land. I hear that argument. Some people say, "Oh, I have chickens and I take their eggs and then we eat the chicken." Like, no, that doesn't that doesn't give you the right to slaughter them. Nothing gives you the right to slaughter them for their body, right? Just because you raised them. No, that's nah.
Should not.
We're one of the only social media agencies that guaranttees $1 million pay.
You need
but
an
honestly,
ad blocker,
that is just
buddy.
kind of what we say.
Yeah,
Eating the animal if you can't do it.
Premium.
Is that like your lens?
Pretty much, because it's like if you don't really know that connection, like it sounds like you guys really like understood this was a living thing, and you're fine with it. Cool.
Agree with Eston
Do
on
you?
that.
But I think there's a lot of people
Me too.
that would say that they would never be able to do that, but they're still very, very happy to eat this meat that there's a huge disconnect. They forget it was a living thing.
I see. Now, a question for you on that same segue. Do you think that there's a difference, or do you see a difference between killing for survival versus killing for?
This is what I was saying earlier too. I just had to point this out. It's I love this point.
It's just really just called this like way early, huh?
Mm-hmm. Once you have that why, you can figure out everything else. That's what I tell people. Like once you have that why, yeah, you will want to figure out everything else. You will want to figure out how to eat to live, to sustain yourself. That's what I did. And once you have that why, you can do it. Yep. So I agree.
Convenience.
There are some areas in the world where populations don't have access to produce, and there are some areas in the world where populations don't have access to livestock. And in those circumstances, in the circumstances where these populations don't have access to produce, I think that that is survival, and it's a necessity. We
Where
in our
is
Western
this
society, we
part
have
of the world
the
that
privilege of
someone does not have
choice, so we
access
get
to
to
produce?
choose. So there,
Right. Yeah.
And if such a place exists, why the fuck are you living there?
Right. Yeah. What doesn't have produce? Like that's.
I mean, we want to talk about like the
everywhere.
deep north of the Canadian wilderness, where it's just permafrost all over the ground. You can't harvest anything. Okay, cool. Maybe don't live there then.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to stay there for the rest of your life. And yeah, that's this is one of those easy arguments to tear apart. Like you don't have to be there unless you're a child. If you're a child and you can't leave, then okay.
A lot of stuff is out of your hands at a young age.
Right. If you're grown and you can literally move, then move.
I think there is a moral distinction between convenience versus survival. Absolutely.
Well, also, when you look at like local farms, I think that was one of the things for me, was really understanding where my food came from, and going and meeting the farmers and the ranchers and shaking the hands of the people that are raising my meat. Has been one of the most incredible parts of my journey. And I partner with a lot of farms. But also getting to see the animals and going into the processing.
I don't know if you wanted to reply to this person. I don't know if they're being
I already did.
Okay, cool.
I already did. They're just trolling.
Gotcha.
Units. I think it's very important to understand the whole process, and to also understand that in order for something to live, something has to die. So we are all here as a part of a circle of life.
Thank you. And for both sides, do you think that the suffering of animals should be weighed equally to human desires?
Yes. I think that we're all living beings sharing this planet. We all matter. And if I eat
it's a very loaded question,
animal-based
that
diet,
I would not eagerly say yes to.
How would you answer that?
I mean, what is it even suggesting? Animal life is equal to human desires. Yes, I agree with this. So is that suggesting that I should concede to the idea that my interest in eating an animal is comparable to that animal's own self-interest in their life? I don't even fully understand the question. I don't know why one of the alleged vegans on the show here is immediately going yes to that question.
Yeah. Maybe get a little bit more clarification into what does that even mean, and dig a little bit deeper into that.
Usually asking whether you value, if you're valuing an animal's life equal to another thing, generally the answer is no, I find.
Yeah. Let me see what she says.
Multiple animals. And so the amount of devastation I'm wreaking on animals is enormous. And I don't feel like we're more important than animals. I think we all matter. We're all connected. And if we can live well and eat well and be healthy without killing, why wouldn't we? And like you said, if I have to kill lots to survive, maybe that's not a sustainable way of living.
Imagine bringing your side project to life.
Don't worry, people. I'm getting ad blocker next week. We're getting it. It's coming.
I think KCE's got a little gotcha here in the comment.
Yeah, I was just about to point out this comment. Just as a thought, the reason for being vegan is an ethical choice to avoid killing animals. Nothing about what is the healthier human diet.
Aha. So you admit it's not about health after all. Checkmate.
Yeah. A little gotcha. And like you said this earlier too, it's not even the fact of, oh, I went vegan for ethical reasons, or I went vegan for health, or I went vegan for this reason. No, if you went vegan, it's because of one thing and one thing only. That's the definition of veganism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just the definition of it. Let's get back in here. I'm gonna stay on for a little while longer.
I can go as long as you go.
You should kill them, but what is the point?
I think that 96% of mammal biomass on this planet is humans and the animals that we have enslaved for meat, and that leaves only 4%. That's wild, and I think that's like absolutely devastating. The amount of land that is used to feed all of these animals is equivalent to the land mass of China and, was it Brazil, something like that, put together. These two huge countries, and that's just excessive. It would be one thing if humans were living indigenously and only like consuming what we needed, but we're just taking up way more than we deserve on the planet. Like, to have only 4% of all of the animals, we're like taking their space just to feed our own animals, and we also aren't feeding people. Like, there's so many starving.
I think you're kind of also getting into a little bit of an existential question as
a little clap back from it.
Well, what are they here for? I mean, what are we here for? All animals, including humans, have the drive to survive and procreate. So I don't think it's so much a question of what are they here for, so much as...
That's what I was saying, Healthy Rich.
Do we respect all life?
So do you think that an animal's life is equal to a human's life, in your eyes?
I think that, yes. I do think that animals' lives are equal.
What would you answer to that question?
I would say that I'm not necessarily
It's a yes or no question.
I mean, it is. And I would say an animal's life, animal deserves to live just like anybody else deserves to live. So I guess the answer to that is yes. But what else I would say to it is, when they ask that question, they try to make it, they try to put you in a situation where you're saying an animal is more important than a human being, which they try to demoralize you into thinking, into saying that you think animals are more than humans. But I don't look at it like that. I look at it in the sense of this dog, this cat, any animal, I don't have authority over this animal to say that they deserve to die just for my pleasure. So I guess the answer to that, in the simple terms, yes.
See, my impulse is to say no to that question.
Okay. Well, yeah, explain.
For one, they're generalizing all animals as compared to all humans. Now, if you're talking purely on principle that yes, everything should, on balance should have, equal civil rights essentially, then okay, yeah, sure. But if you're just asking, is the value of given range of animals equal to that of given range of other animals, then I can't honestly agree with that, because you're talking about wildly different animals in both cases. There are dogs whose lives I would absolutely value over the lives of certain humans, just as there are certain humans whose lives I would value much more over certain dogs.
Right.
It depends on the case by case basis, quite frankly. I mean, it's this sort of thing. Like, I'm sorry, are you so egotistical and self-centered that you value your life more than you would value Hitler's life? Oh my gosh. You know,
Yeah, it kind of goes
ridiculous.
into not to cut you off. It kind of goes into saying, hey, because obviously, if obviously I'm a feel more value towards or more of a connection towards my mother's life than a random person on the street. But that doesn't devalue that random person on the street's life any less. But in my eyes, yes, I value my mom more, and it, you know, so it's kind of one of those type of questions.
It'll usually get spun around to that sort of thing. So it's like,
Mhm.
so granted that you said that, so if I put both, your firstborn child on a chopping block next to nameless chicken, we know you'll throw it up to chance, right? Just a coin flip, as far as
Right,
you're concerned.
right.
No, I wouldn't.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But again, that does end up conjuring, as I mentioned, an extreme hypothetical. Oh, that situation would never happen. It's still a worthwhile thought experiment.
Yeah, and I see what you're doing with that question. You're thinking like 2 or 3 questions ahead. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what you're doing. At least that's what it seems like. You're like, okay, why this question even is arising, and what are the implications if I answer too quickly? Let me think about 2, 3 steps ahead. Like, yeah, you're
Well,
playing chess, not chess.
you don't even necessarily have to like question the motivations of the person asking the question. But if you are going to answer the question, I do absolutely think you should be cognizant of the implications of the answer that you're going to give. Because if you suggest something like, yeah, if I'm on a desert island, I would agree to eat a deer to sustain my own life, then that has implications on the rest of your moral principles, such
Mhm.
as, would you butcher another human on the desert island scenario?
Right.
So you got that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To humans'
Watch
lives.
a little bit
I
more
don't,
as I go
I think
through.
there's like a gradient of sentience in the animal kingdom. I think humans have a lot more sentience than, let's say, a bug or a plant. But the animals that we do farm do have a lot of a high sentience, and they experience pain and suffering, and those are the things that matter when we're talking about the value of life.
Hi, loves. It's me again, Dr. Michelle Daff. We've really been enjoying producing these
We don't want
meaningful
to hear it
bless
right
you
now.
as much as they have blessed me.
A large percentage of the population, I don't know the example to
There's
the human
something.
diet.
I just
It's a
realized the title of
biological
this
fact.
video:
I will
Vegans
add
versus
that
Carnivore Women.
kind of what I
Yeah.
said earlier, there are certain
Why?
nutrients that are only
Could they
Yeah.
only find vegan women, or were they like, this won't be fair if we just pick the random carnivores who actually want to have this conversation?
I think they just went out their way to find women.
I
Um,
think so.
I think
I
that's
just
what
don't.
they did.
I just think it's weird that they don't say vegan women versus carnivore women.
Right. Right. Yeah, that is kind of strange. Oh, my bad. I thought I.
found in meat that are essential to the human diet.
Like what?
Choline is one of them, which is essential for brain development. Heme
Oh
iron, which
man,
is
my brain has not been
mostly
developed.
better absorbed coming from meat. folate, and then the active form of B12. To your point, yes, people can get it, but there is a large percentage of the population, I don't know the exact number, that has a defect in something called the MTHFR gene. This actually makes them unable to convert the inactive form of B12 to the active form, which is what actually fuels your energy production and detox pathways in the body. So a lot of times people can actually get a buildup of something called homocysteine, which is actually a molecule that can cause cardiovascular
As soon as
disease.
I hear detox
And so
pathways, I want to slap this person across the face.
Man, she one of those people where she want to use a whole lot of different terms to try to confuse you. You've been vegan for a long. I've been vegan for a long time. The first thing that people try to fearmonger you away from a vegan diet is because of B12. B12. It's two forms. It's I can't pronounce the C word form, and it's methyl form. The methyl form is easily absorbed, but detox pathways. It's not even that complex. Get you a supplement of B12 and have a nice day. Like, it's not that difficult. Like, have a nice day. Go get you some B12, some methyl B12 from the store. Sit down, go watch some Netflix. That's it. Like, what she's saying is basically a whole bunch of gibberish to try to confuse somebody into saying, "Oh, I'm not getting that, so I need to go eat animals."
In the spirit of in the spirit of intellectual honesty, I'm inclined to say she's not saying that to deceive anybody. I just think she's thick-headed enough to have read something like that and go like, "Oh, this detoxifying pathways, that makes perfect sense to me." And then she's just parroting it like every other nonsense thing you read online.
Yeah, you're being a little bit more nice than me. I guess I didn't heard things like this way too much, and it burns my bridges a little bit. And you might be right, because if we're being all the way honest, a lot of times the people who spew certain things in false narratives, sometimes they actually believe it. They're not literally trying to lie to you. It's unconsciously. They're not doing it on purpose. They actually believe this. This is what she believed. Because if she didn't believe it, because belief is not a choice, is what I tell you. Belief is not a choice. You can come to believe something, but once you believe something, once you're convinced of something, being convinced of something isn't a choice. Either you're convinced of something or you're not. You can't fake that, right? Now, people can be disingenuous, and like you said, I don't believe that she's being disingenuous. I just believe she's haven't done the due diligence to really understand that what she's saying isn't completely factual.
Well, I think that's something that I think I would put a little note on there, because if I think the charitable thing would be to say that she's not necessarily trying to deceive all 8 other people in the room. She's just repeating what she personally honestly believes. However, if there were anything to like critique her and say is just representative of her terrible character, is that she has not made the effort to think a little bit more critically about the information she reads before she regurgitates it out. And for a video, just barfing out more information that she's absorbed, just asserted to be true, and is now repeating it.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's kind of my issue with a lot of these sorts of people. Like they may be convinced of it, and I would go so far as to believe they are convinced of it. But the fact that they've become convinced of it and haven't thought any harder on the subject, like they haven't taken 2 seconds to Google one other article that might possibly disagree with them, that's the sort of shit that gets under my skin. And I'm like, you dumb asshole.
Yeah, confirmation bias at its finest. Like you can literally go online and search YouTube all day to find things that go along with the narrative that you already believe. That's one thing, and that's why all the research I've done. When I do research, I don't simply, and this is just me personally. When I do and this what everyone should do when you do research about a said topic, you don't find things that you already agree with and type that into the search bar. No, you find things that are on even playing fields. Like for example, when I did research on anti-nutrients, I didn't type in the search bar, are anti-nutrients good or bad? I didn't type that in. I found articles, peer-reviewed articles, and researched both sides where they were saying, oh, it's bad, and were saying it's good. And I dug through those to come to my own conclusion, and I figured out, they were lying about anti-nutrients. They're not destructive to your body. They're not going to kill you. If you cook the food, it deactivates them. And there's some evidence that says small amounts of anti-nutrients are not even disruptive to the body at all. So I don't know how I
don't know anything about that subject, but all I can say is that I agree with the principle that people should be fact checking themselves more than they are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can actually heal their cardiovascular disease by going carnivore and getting those bioavailable nutrients in their diet.
So you don't like carnivores don't like take B12 supplements. Is that what you're saying?
They usually don't have to. Now I will caveat that with the people who do have that genetic defect. Sometimes we do still have to supplement them even on a carnivore diet because they naturally will run deficient. And I do a lot of this in my practice.
Thank you. Anyone?
What is her practice?
I just have a question.
That's what I want to know.
So on a carnivore diet, do you have to supplement with like vitamin C or vitamin K or fiber, any of the nutrients that are lacking in animal foods?
The answer to that is maybe, because everybody's different, right? We don't exist in vacuums. Our systems are not completely stable at every point in time. We have outside factors. So something like even a person's stress level can influence how much vitamin C their body's running through. So somebody could be doing a carnivore diet and they could still be getting adequate amounts of vitamin C on paper. But if they're in a high stress state, they could be running through it more and may need to supplement.
Yes,
I would say
I hate that argument because they say that they use that argument to say that yes, everybody is different, and of course you're going to be unable to argue that point. Of course, everybody is different. Everybody is fine-tuned in just such a way that I happen to not be able to consume peanuts without breaking out in hives or something like that, right? Yes, everybody's different. Not necessarily everybody can consume every kind of food. But at the same time, I hear this exact same argument be used to segue into so as you can see, there's always an exception to the rules that you're setting. You can't make the statement that veganism is healthy for you because it's going to kill hypothetical person number 9,827. So your entire premise is fallacious. This is totally wrong. But of course, as you open the stream by saying, where is this person who's lived to 40 and is like absolutely on their deathbed because they've never eaten meat in their entire life? Yeah. I've yet to see them as well.
I want to find them. I literally open the stream. A lot of these streams, like, find me the person that's on their deathbed because they're vegan. I want to find this person, and I've yet to see that person. You know what I mean? And once again, like we've both been saying, veganism isn't about health, but I know a lot of people, and I've helped a lot of people through my programs get off of medications, reverse type 2 diabetes. Everyone is different, but I've seen a lot of people improve their health by going plant-based. But once again, that's not what veganism is for. It's just a extra component to it, and so
Again, there's no magic nutrients in animals, and I once, when I was early on in my adult life, I had an iron deficiency, and the doctor said, I was living in France, and they're like, you have to eat meat. And I did some research and found that using lemon on iron on beans would increase the absorption.
Yeah, absolutely. Eston, what you said right here is interesting concept, but a little concerning and true. I've heard a lot of vegans say that one can't choose to be vegan and believe in animal rights any more than one can choose to believe in a religion.
Huh?
You know, when a person, like, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. My only thing to add to that is when a person grows up in a family and they believe a certain religion, they didn't choose to believe that. They're convinced of that. That's what they believe, right? And that's what it is, right? Whether that's Hindu, whether that's Christianity, whatever it is, they grew up into that and they're convinced of that. Me personally, I don't believe anyone. Either you're convinced of something or you're not, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of evidence towards that fact. It's not a choice, right? Either, because if you believe something, you believe it, right? Either you do or you don't,
And then
Well,
I did that, and I came back. My
I
levels were
guess
perfect, and the
I guess
doctor
we're
said,
kind of
"Oh,
conflating two things. You can't choose to be vegan. Yes, you can choose to be vegan in the same way that you can choose to go to church or not go to church. Whatever attendant beliefs are associated with that you don't, quote unquote, have a choice in. That's just
Right.
what you've been convinced of.
Exactly.
you ate meat." Nope.
We'll go a few
Had
more
beans and
minutes.
lemon. And fruits and vegetables have all the minerals and vitamins that we need. I believe that we're from the tropics originally. We're frugivores, and that's where all the nutrients and the fiber come from. Most people are deficient in fiber and vitamin C and all those other things. Pretty much nobody's deficient in protein if they're not starving to death. So I feel like a plant-based, whole food plant-based,
Don't get me started on protein.
lots of different colors and variety of
Not want to talk about that.
produce will give you a
Content
very
over
healthy,
time.
balanced diet, much more than eating animals.
But do you have to eat a lot more of whatever you're eating? Like in terms, let's say protein, you are eating like what kind of things do you eat for protein? Like chickpeas and
Tofu, chickpeas,
okay.
flaxseed, hemp.
But do you have to eat so much
God,
of
you
it
have to
in
eat
order
so
to get
many
People get way too much
chickpeas, though.
protein. It's a myth that we need the amounts of protein that we need. I'm a professional athlete.
many kidney
I'm not
stones.
eating hundreds of grams of protein because our body can only absorb a certain amount at each sitting anyway. And fruits and vegetables have protein in them. In fact, kale, ounce per ounce, has more protein than steak. And we don't need protein, we need amino acids. So that's what is in plants.
Also, like one block of tofu is the equivalent calorically and protein to about a half a dozen eggs. And so, you can easily eat, well, I can't eat a whole brick, but you could eat like a half a brick. Okay, maybe. Good.
Do you think
Shout out to Knight, and I agree with your comment.
on this side, ladies, that some people are genetically better suited for carnivore diets than others?
Yes. I can definitely speak to the genetic predisposition in certain people to whether they may be suited to a carnivore diet or not. This is actually something that I
thinks
tested in my
can
patients in my
very
practice. It's something that
definitely
I
speak
tested
to
on
just
myself.
about any point
and I
they
do happen
have.
to be
Yeah,
I get that impression from her.
Yeah.
very well suited personally to a carnivore diet based on my genes that metabolize carbohydrates, how much I require in protein, and how I do with saturated fats. So it works really, really well for me, and it doesn't work well for everybody. There actually are genes that predispose people to developing plaques and cardiovascular disease with high saturated fat, and we see this in the literature, we see this in real life. But for the people that are on the fence and they haven't tried kind of one way or another, I think looking at somebody's genes is going to tell them what they may be best suited to if they'd be willing to experiment.
I have a question.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
wonder if, like, how long has anyone?
I agree, Eston. Yep, you can, if you are convinced of something, and you have a belief, those can change. Like, if you become convinced of something, you can become unconvinced of something based on more evidence that you get.
Sustained a carnivore diet. Like, are there any long-term studies on it?
Can
I'm coming
you
up on
think
4
of
years.
anything else
I'm
that
coming
it's
up on
like,
5,
should I
and
do
we
this
have a lot
thing?
of people in our
I don't
community that
know.
have
I should do a 23andMe to find out. It's like, does that govern your decision whether or not to go fucking skydiving? Does that govern your decision whether or not to take up swimming? Does that
Right.
govern your decision to start soldering circuit boards? It makes no sense at all.
None.
been doing it for over 20.
How
15.
much meat exactly, or like, can you explain sort of like the typical lifestyle of someone who considers himself a carnivore versus just a typical person who eats whatever?
I was very strict when I first went carnivore, and it was out of necessity as well.
I'm
I was
inclined to say
sick
that
too.
this
Now I would say
video
I'm a little bit more
is
flexible, so I
a
will
little
include
bit of a
some
farce
non-carnivore
from the
items that
outset,
keep me.
because
What was that I didn't hear?
I'm inclined to say that this video is a bit of a farce in the first place, because the carnivores, quote unquote, on the right side, they're all there because they're postulating that they're eating a totally healthy diet, if not the healthiest diet. Whereas the people on the other side of the fence, ostensibly, are there because they're in favor of an ethical position, and
Right.
they just fundamentally disagree with the people on the right. But the people on the right aren't challenging what the people on the left are saying, other than the fact that, oh, you're plant-based. So it's like, incidentally, they're opposed, but it's not really a debate between an ethical position and an ethical position. So
Yeah, it's no real it's just a lot of different talking points. It's no real discussion on one specific thing that they're talking about. Like you mentioned, the carnivores are talking about the health and why they're doing it for health reasons. It sounds like the majority of them are talking about, especially this woman right here, obviously. In the people who are vegan, most of them are coming, at least they always try to bring the topic back to ethical reasons. So they're kind of like talking past each other almost.
yeah.
In ketosis, so
And
I'll
this
have
video is
avocado, I'll
very
have
long.
olives,
Definitely
but on a
like
daily
to keep
basis,
talking.
I'll usually eat a ribeye and maybe half a pound of ground beef, a couple eggs thrown in there, and that's enough.
So I'm about the same. I eat about 1.5 pounds of meat a day, and it just varies between ground.
I've yet to see somebody who went to the hospital for protein deficiency. Never seen it in my life.
meat.
Ever.
And I stick with bison, beef, lamb, and goat, veal, venison when I can hunt it. But I also eat nose to tail. So I eat,
What?
I
That is
believe
such
that we should honor the whole animal.
What?
So I do include the organ meat.
Crazy.
So I eat
That's a
a
crazy thing to
combination
say.
of a little bit of
Just-
organs,
yeah,
a little bit
just
of
that
fat, and a little
sentence.
bit of muscle meat.
That-
What kind of
exactly. Like it
utopia?
literally penetrated my ears. I was like, this disgusting, man. What possessed you to say something like that? Like pause, man. That's the biggest pause.
I
ever.
eat nose to tail, you see.
Crazy.
Ugh.
Crazy.
Per meal.
And they don't
What do you
even
mean by
nothing wrong
honor
with
the
it.
animal?
That's the
So by honoring the animals, and I'm not just consuming the muscle meat, I'm consuming the entire
that's
the entire
shadow
animal.
boxing.
What's interesting too, in terms of like longevity, the question about longevity, I know you mentioned.
Oh man, I would love to. I'm having a good time, but I would love to continue. I do want to continue this live stream next week. Well, I do have another topic next week, but I want to thank everybody for joining on. Also, shout out your YouTube channel.
It's Omnizoa.
Gotcha.
Omnizoa. They can see my name in the comments if they want.
Yeah, definitely gonna clip this up, post some of this on YouTube for sure.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you came on. You definitely had some great insights. It's always good to find another person with the good cause. Yeah, so I appreciate you for hopping on. If you see me on live stream again, definitely join, chop it up again. You know, I'm definitely gonna have some more topics. Appreciate everybody for joining. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, so I'm gonna holler at you on the next time. Appreciate everybody for joining. Till next time, fuel yourself, don't fool yourself. Another Fit Fusion reaction, and I'm out of this thing, y'all. I gotta go get some good plant-based food. All right, we gone. Peace
Take
out.
care. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. Happy Halloween, people.